Man, I had to go snatch this one up real quick. Why are you making all that noise? You wanna say hi? Say hi. Look over there. Yeah, yeah. I'm supposed to be doing a weekly update, and you over there crying and making all this noise, and I gotta come over there and snatch you up. Now you want? I'm talking to you. Yeah, you kids, man. Nope, nope. Wait, nope. Don't grab my. Don't. Yeah, sorry about that. Um, yeah. My son was trying to eat my microphone. He's at that age where he just wants to eat everything. Anywho, we are going to get started with a weekly update. We have so much to unpack here. We have so much data. We have candle openings. We have earnings. And I'm going to lay it all out for you right now. Please just try to bear with me. All right, so we have some major events you can't afford to miss, along with a bunch of, like I said, new candles opening up this week. To start off this week, we have a lot of things happening at the Fed. Four Fed speakers are scheduled to speak at some point this week. Tuesday, we could have early updates on the ruling of the Lisa Cook case. In case you're unaware, there were some charges brought against her, about mortgage fraud. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how that has anything to do with her job. Some people, you know, say that this could be, a ploy that Trump is trying to use to stack the Fed in his favor. But you didn't hear that from me. All right. Wednesday, September 3rd, we have job openings and the labor turnover survey, which is called JOLTS, the JOLTS report. It will be released at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, providing data on job openings, hires, and separations. We will also get the an important macroeconomic report where the Fed tells us what they think about the current state of the job market and inflation with the release of their beige book. Spoiler alert, it's bad. You know what happened with the last job report when they had to, fix those numbers and someone lost their job. Anyway, Thursday is Stephen Moran's replacement of Adriana Kugler after she resigned. So he's going to be nominated, and let's just say there's definitely some drama at the Fed. Shakeout. Some might say Trump's definitely trying to fast track his nomination so that he can vote on the next Fed meeting in 2 weeks. Or is he? Yeah, there's definitely some rumors going around. Don't know if they're necessarily true. All right, Friday, September 5th, which will be the most heavily watched piece of data to come out is his of this week is the jobs report. This report will be broken down into three major parts. One, the non-farm payrolls are expected to show 75,000 new jobs created last month, up from 73,000 in the previous month. Now, again, we have had some very huge adjustments to the jobs report. In fact, when the jobs report usually comes out, it's not technically, and again, quote me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not technically accurate. And so they're kind of going off of some guesses. And so we'll see exactly what happens with this jobs report data that comes out, all right, with the non farm payrolls. Secondly, we have the unemployment rate, which is expected to slightly rise from 4.2% to 4.3. Now, honestly, if we get higher than 4.3%, I'm telling you right now, this is definitely it's weird because it'll be a bullish signal in the sense of the Fed will cut rates. Now, again, I mean, I can't say bullish because we don't know how the market will react to this. It could become a very bearish signal because of the fact that the job unemployment rate is rising so quickly. All right, and third, the hourly wage is expected to rise from 3.7 year over year. Okay, so those are the three components that will make up the jobs report on Friday. Now, this wouldn't be a good report, but it might be exactly what the market wants so that we're guaranteed a rate cut in 2 weeks. All right, and lastly, we have the Fed blackout period beginning Saturday, September 6th, which means no Fed members will be allowed to speak publicly about the economy or any Fed monetary policies until the meeting is over, September 16th through the 17th. All right, now on to the earnings we have. We have 11 companies reporting earnings this week, but the ones that I'll be paying attention to are NEO on Tuesday. Yeah, I love me some NEO. Oh, cheap, but hopefully it goes. CRM, which is Salesforce. Um, Dollar Tree, DLTR, Macy's, AIC3.AI on Wednesday. Thursday will be the biggest day with companies like Avgo, Lululemon, and UiPath, also with DocuSign reporting their earnings. Honestly, Friday it won't even matter because, like everyone else, I'll be paying attention to the jobs reports. Let's get to the candles that are going to be opening up tomorrow. Starting off, we have the 3-day, which is the new candle. We have the 5-day. We have the 11-day. We have the 15-day. We have the weekly, the 2-week, the month, the 2-month, the 4-month, and the 8-month. These are the candles that will be opening up tomorrow. All right. Now, without further ado, let's go check out these charts. All right, guys. So on my chart, we have ES. All right. So obviously, as you can see, ES has been making new all-time highs, continuing, just going higher and higher. We are coming to a level now where we seem to be kind of basing. We haven't really broken out and broken higher, obviously, but that still remains to be seen. So we have an inside week starting off with ES, and what that tells us is that there's some consolidation that's going on, and it's also telling us that there might be some indecision, or possibly we're getting ready for a reversal. All right, so that again remains to be seen. We'll see how the market opens up tomorrow. ES is giving us a glimpse of what's to come, and again, this all could also be predicated on what's coming Wednesday, September 3rd, with the Fed's decision. All right, so inside week, not really much going on. Let's fast forward a little bit to the month, or jump to the month. So we opened up on the month, and again, we're still inside month. We haven't really obviously gone up or down or broken the high or the low of the previous monthly candle. All right, again, I think that the decision that's coming up is going to be a very, very heavily is going to be heavily reacted by the market. So in my opinion, not financial advice, I'm most likely going to be sitting on my hands until we actually get some type of movement going on in the market. All right, so that's ES. All right, let's move down to NQ. NQ, same thing. NQ opened up inside week. It's not really doing much. Sorry, inside month, because we're still in the monthly. But same thing with the week, the month, because they're still all so weird. I forgot, but they're still within each other. I forgot the whole phrase, but whatever. So we have inside, actually on the weekly, it looks like NQ actually went 2 down on the week. So it did break the low of the previous candle, and so that might tell us something. Notice also what's going on with the trend. We did make a higher high as opposed to these highs over here, and now it looks like we have reached a bit of exhaustion. So we could possibly see a continuation to the downside. We do have 2 previous red weeks. Could we get a third? Again, that all remains to be seen. We have, again, this would give us our 1, 2, possibly 2 reversal back to the upside, or 1, 2, and possibly 2 down to continue to go lower. All right. So that's what we have for NQ on the week, and like I said on the monthly, still inside month. All right, let's move over to YM. All right, so YM has a 3-1 on the month. All right, we could see a 3-1 where we could just stay inside for the entire month. I mean, I highly doubt that, but you never know. Or we can get a 3 either 2 up break or a 3 2 down. All right, so it all depends again on what the market decides to do. If I go to the weekly, we have double inside so far. We had inside previous inside week, and then we're starting off this week again inside. Now, whether we decide to break up or down, again, still remains to be seen. All right, so like I said, for now, I'm kind of just sitting on my hands. Remember, there's nothing wrong with just waiting. We need to wait to see where the market decides to go. If we jump in now, maybe like, tomorrow, probably get chopped up a bit because price is not really moving anywhere. So once price is decided to either go up or go down, then we can come back, make our analysis, and decide like whether this is the right move. All right, cool. I'm just gonna check the daily real quick just to see. Again, just like using consolidation, we haven't really been doing anything. We've had these previous consolidation, breakup, consolidation, breakup, consolidation. So perhaps we break up again. just being patient is still, a move. All right, and now we move into the Russell. The Russell actually looks really good because of the market structure that it's been displaying for quite some weeks now. All right, so you have maintained this market structure where we're in an uptrend. All right, so as you can see here, we had our downtrend, we had our high to our lower high, to our high, to our lower high, to our high, to our lower high, and then we had a breakout where we came and we changed structure, so got this previous high, went above it, and then we continued now with making highs, lower highs, highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, already here, higher high, higher low, and higher high. So we could definitely see RTY, the Russell, possibly maybe come retrace a little bit down here into this fair value gap and then continue its trend up. So maybe something like this, where we go here and then continue. All right, especially if interest rates are cut. Small caps have yet to really have a huge run for like I want to say like 4 years. So this might be their time. All right, so I would definitely pay attention to this. All right, I'm looking at it again. This is on the daily. Let's look at it on the weekly. Again, inside week. I didn't realize we also attempted to go outside. I think we also attempted to go outside month. Oh yeah, we definitely do. We went outside month. Oh, excuse me. I think I already talked about that. What am I talking about? Oh my god. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired. All right. So yes, we went outside month. So we have the possibility to go 3, 2 up on the monthly, which I am definitely feeling. All right. So targeting this range here, this area here, I would definitely keep my eye on small caps because I think they're about to make a big move again. If everything goes according to plan, interest rates being cut, we could definitely see some moves in the small cap sector. All right, now we're gonna move on to SPY. All right, so for SPY, we have a 3-2-2 reversal continuation on. I did not mark what day it was. Let's see if it's on the weekly. Yes. Okay. So we have a 3-2-2 possible continuation or reversal on the weekly. All right. Hold on, let me hide this so you guys can see. All right. So we had a 3, obviously 3 hammer, and the 2 came up, but wasn't really in force. Kind of, gave back most of the move that it made. So we could either see a 3, 2, and then possibly another 2 candle that goes up and breaks the high of this candle, or we can see a 2 that breaks the low and comes back down, giving us that 3-2-2 reversal or that 3-2-2 continuation. All right. So again, I think it's more so probably predicated on news. We'll see what happens. If the market is reaching a level of exhaustion, we could definitely see it come back down and sell off a bit. All right. So that's on the weekly. On the 2 week, we do have a bit of a hammer though, so that might give us a clue as to where this market might decide to go. Again, be patient, see what the market decides to give us. And on a daily, we've just been doing uptrends. So we have our, again, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and higher high. We do have a gap here that the market might fill that in and then possibly come back down, or fill it in and go up. We have another gap to the downside, which can be targeted by SPY. We have another one obviously here and another one here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like this, where maybe we reach up into this gap first and then come down to fill these gaps, as well. So a trend line. I don't know if we're gonna go all the way down here, but you never know, depending on the data. All right. So that's SPY. Let's move on to NASDAQ. Okay, so on the NASDAQ, we have a 3-2-2 on the week as well. All right, so we had a 3-2 down and a 2 up, but the 2 up again kind of failed. It wasn't like it went in force. It wasn't a strong close on the weekly. So we did dip into this fair value gap. Obviously, it'll probably give us a little momentum back to the upside, but we have failed to really reclaim this range from here to here. All right, so we had this strong push down with this red candle here, and we came up, and now we're starting to see again some weakness develop in the Qs in NASDAQ because of the wick. So every time it got within the range of this candle, it kept wicking back down, wicked again back down. So we could see maybe some downside, or we could just see some consolidation where we just trade out and consolidate for a while until price decides on which direction it wants to go. All right, on the monthly, we have a failed 2 up. All right, so we've had 1, 2, 3 consecutive green candles, and that's 3 months of just upside. So it might be time for a bit of a pullback. So with this being our first red candle, we can definitely see some selling pressure coming down. All right, so we might get some weakness in tech coming up. All right, I just want to check out the 2-week. Yeah, so we have a shooter on the 2-week with a failed, not even a failed, sorry, a 2 down. It's still kind of, it's more of a doji kind of indecision candle. All right, so we have this shooter, which might again give us a hint of where price might be going. So my bias, my financial advice, is kind of, pushing us to the downside. All right, and then I'm gonna jump down now to IWM. Like I said, IWM by far is my favorite, because while everything else is looking quite bearish, IWM is still looking rather bullish. All right, so we have these relative equal highs here on the 2-week, and also on the weekly. We just have these relative equal highs. Now price, as we know, likes to go and likes to take out these equal highs. All right, we also have an outside bar outside on the daily, so let's take a look at that. All right, so we went outside day, but if we zoom out and we look at the structure, we can obviously and clearly see that we've been in an uptrend. So the trend has been just kind of going in our favor. We just went making our higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. We did make a bit of a lower low here, but then we reclaimed it, came right back into that range, higher low, and possibly higher low. Could we be seeing some weakness? Yeah, probably. Might come back down into this, test this fair value gap, and then possibly come back up. All right. So IWM again is just looking beautiful. We have, also, I think we're going to, let's see, are we going to all-time highs? Or have we, oh my gosh, we are heading to all-time, we could possibly be heading to all-time highs. All right, this, you can see it. So yeah, if you look at it on a yearly, again, IWM doesn't look like it's done at all. We came down into this range, the demand zone, and we are in this fair value gap, and we have bought, they've been buying this up. So we have these equal highs that I'm pretty sure that's what they're targeting to grab that liquidity. We might see a little weakness once we get to this point, but IWM is definitely looking like it's not finished. All right, when we look at the monthly, we went outside bar to the upside on the month, and we usually, can tell what's usually followed by an outside bar, which is a 3-2, which is like a 3-2 up continuation to the upside. All right, now remember, we do have new monthly candles opening up tomorrow. So whenever a monthly candle opens up, it gives us, it could be a bit, they play around sometimes. So we gap down tomorrow. Again, this is why I'm saying be patient, because we don't know exactly what the market's going to decide, or we could gap up. All right. And one thing I did forget to mention was the candles that will be opening up tomorrow. Our new candles will be the 3-day, the 5-day, the 11-day, the 15-day, the weekly, obviously, the 2-week, the month, 2-month, the 4-month, and the 8-month. So definitely mark those on your charts and see what plays they are giving you. All right. So like I said, on a month we have a outside bar. We might have outside bars on other charts, like other time frames that you can look at to see where price is, telling us it wants to go. All right. Now I'm just gonna jump down. DIA on a month. So DIA still looks actually pretty bullish. We also have an outside bar on the monthly as well. If we go down to the 2-week, we had a 1-3 here, and it's been going 2 up continuation for quite a while now. So we could possibly see another 2 up candle. I know I had these lines drawn, so I'm just going to jump to the daily so we can see how it's been respecting the trend. So we had obviously our high, low, higher low, and then higher high, higher low, and when we came down, we swept liquidity here, brought it right back up into the range, and we're continuing our trend back to the upside. I mean, DIA is the same thing. It was just the Dow Jones. So we can see that, price is still possibly going to continue our uptrend. All right, so we did go outside month, but again, new monthly candle opening up tomorrow. We just need to sit and wait and see what they decide to do, because I have seen completely when it ends the month very bullish and then all of a sudden you're super bearish. So be patient and just look at the chart. Excuse me. All right, next we have VIX. All right, so the VIX, for those of you who don't know, is the volatility index. It kind of is the way we can see if the market is about to become bearish or not. So when we zoom out, we do have a demand zone down here that every time VIX comes into this area or close to this area, it starts to go back up. We are very closely approaching this area. You can even kind of say it might even reach up to like here, because you can see like there's these wicks here and all that stuff that every time it reacts here, it just kind of bounces back up. So this is what I'm seeing. When paying attention to this can definitely show us that there's going to be some weakness or volatility happening in the markets. Again, we do have extremely important data coming out, so yeah, pay attention to the VIX, see what happens. So the first sector that we'll be looking at is XLE. All right, XLE looks really good to the upside. Now oil has been special, let's just put it like that. It's been very special. All right, in XLE, we have our trend channel. I want to pay attention to this. So we've been stuck in this range for quite a while, and we've just been like bouncing in between it for, as you can see, it's been a while. All right. One thing I want to point to is in our XLE. Let's start with the weekly. All right. On the weekly, yeah, I've already indicated that we have this trend channel that we kind of just been stuck in. Every time that price has reacted down at the bottom of the trend, you can see that it's come back up. All right, even though it dipped a little bit here, it still came up and went right back to the top of this trend. And then it came down, same thing. Every time it goes down, it comes back up, down, comes up. And so similarly, we are here with this area right here where we have broken below, swept liquidity here at these points here. And now we are breaking, we came back into the range. All right. Notice also we had this huge displacement candle here. Let me just turn this off so you can see. All right. So we had this huge displacement candle here. And then price, what did it do? It came down, swept the liquidity, but it didn't stay here. It came immediately, not immediately, but it recovered and came back into the range. And we've been consolidating for a minute now until we finally look like we're about to break out to the upside. All right. Again, this is all, remains to be seen, because again, we do have a new week, new month opening up, but the way this ended kind of can be a confluence to show that we're possibly starting to head back up to the upside. All right. So we displaced down, came back, recovered into the range, consolidation, and now we're pushing back up. Now, when you zoom out, and the reason why I had these boxes drawn was because we have something called an AMD. All right, so we have our accumulation, which has been accumulating in this range for quite a while, a few weeks. We have the manipulation, where it drove price down to make us believe that we were going to go down and possibly break the trend line down and continue our path down. Now, one of my mentors, he's a fantastic trader, Abby Sai. He has a channel, look it up. It's called AB Trades. All right, he always talks about how if you break out of the range and you come back to test it, now what you want to see, if you want to see if, like, obviously if it's continuation to the downside, you would see something like this where it breaks down, comes in, tests the range, and then continues lower. All right, we didn't get that. We didn't get that at all. In fact, what we did get, which I'm deleting the right thing. What we did get was a breakdown. It came back into the range, came right here and started to consolidate. So we didn't get a continuation of the downward, what could have been downward trend. All right. And so now we're starting to see it develop to possibly take us back to the upside. All right. So this is one of the things that caught my eye as soon as I saw it, and I'm like, this looks good. So XLE looks really good. Oil, energy names looking like they about to do a little something. All right. So yeah, XLE. All right. And then if you look at the monthly, we got our outside bar in the month, baby. Look at that. That looks good. All right. So we got our 3 outside bar in a month. We could possibly get, again, 2 up and take us back up to the top of this trend line. And who knows, maybe this time, we might actually break out of it. Or, we could just keep chopping within it. Regardless, though, we still have a ways to go, excuse me, to get back up here. All right. All right. So that's what I'm talking about for XLE. All right. Now, let's move on to my next one I wanted to talk about next was XLB. XLB on the month looks pretty good. All right, so I will say this: we did have a candle, previous monthly candle, that created this huge wick. All right, so that might be a bit, concerning. But we came back and we reclaimed all of that, and so XLB looks, like it might want to continue to get a little bit, momentum to the upside. All right. So let's go to the 2 week, and on the 2 week we have our 1-2 possible 2 continuation to the upside. All right. Like I said, I have these 2 wicks highlighted because I just want to paint this picture. We have 2 wicks that show on each 2 week that they were rejected from this area. Just kept getting rejected. All right, and finally we closed above it. So remember, I forgot this guy that I follow on X. He had this phrase. It's like, it's not where the candle goes, it's where the candle closes. Now, I know that's not grammatically correct, but it makes a lot of sense. We always want to wait for the candle to see what it's going to do and how it's going to close. So this candle has closed fairly strong, and it has done what these candles have not done. So now we're kind of seeing that buyers are stepping in. And because buyers are stepping in, we might start to see some, again, momentum to the upside. Now, obviously, we need to understand what's happening. We do have an order block here, all right? And for those of you who are not aware of what an order block is, an order block is the last, it depends on the direction. For now, where price is going up, so we're going to look at the last up candle before the move to the downside, all right? So this is the last green candle, and before we had a huge, downward move, all right? And the reason why this is important is because we have resting orders, obviously, that sit here, and we can come in, when we come into contact with this order block, we can get some heavy selling pressure. So we need to see how price reacts when it gets up here, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We just need to see how price reacts when it gets here, all right? Because as you can see, every time we dipped into it so far, we've rejected, we come down, all right? So let's see if price has something, in the works this time where it might change. All right. So that's for the 2 weeks. The same thing kind of like on the weekly. And then I already showed the month. All right. So that's XLB. All right. Moving on. Next, I'm going to look at XLF. Let's see if nope, that's XL. XLE. I really need to put these in order next time. All right. XLF. Excuse me. So another outside month for XLF. All right. So we had some bullish momentum to the upside. We went outside month. I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say. Now we are hitting, I believe, all-time highs. So this is one thing to be mindful of, because of the fact that we have gone outside month. The end of the month, and we're getting a new month, we could see some selling. Broad informations do exist, and we could be hitting a broad information at this point, and we need to just understand that when we get to this level, we are in price discovery, so we could obviously continue going higher. Now, the one thing I do want to mention is the fact that we do have, again, rate cuts coming soon. Rate cuts heavily benefit banks and the financial sector because of the fact that they were able to offer, lending, obviously, at lower rates, and that is bullish for them. So again, just be mindful, obviously, of what the market decides to do, and to see what becomes of this outside bar. On the 2 week, we had one of my favorite setups, was called a 131, and then but obviously we already broke to the upside. Now again, we did have a strong candle close on this 2 week chart. I will say this, again, new monthly candle. That's all I'm gonna say. Could be a lot of trickery going on. All right. Now with the 1-2, we can get a 2 reversal back to the downside, or we can get a continuation to the upside. So that's what I'll be paying attention to see what the next candle does. All right. Weekly, just kind of like, 4 green candles in a row. Let's see if we get some continuation or if we get, again, a pullback. All right. That's XLF. Actually, let me take a look at the daily, and again, kind of similar things. All right, that's XLF. Let's now look at XLRE, housing. Okay, so this is really a good chart. I really like this one a lot, and I'm gonna start on a monthly because we have been in this compression range quite a while. All right, now again, another thing that's heavily influenced by interest rates is real estate. So we have our downtrend here. We made our lower high into our higher low. Interesting. And then we made a lower high again, and then one more lower low. We swept this liquidity, came down, and now we broke up. We had our displacement to the upside, and we had our higher high, which again was accompanied by another higher low. All right, so we can see here, I have a market structure shift. We went from going into a downtrend, now shifting into an uptrend. Now, once we made this higher high here, we've been compressing, right? As you can see, I've been drawing my little triangles to show you we are compressing or tightening. All right, yes, we did have this long wick, but notice what happened with this long wick. This is why I love this. It came down, swept, and they brought it right back up into that range. All right, so we are sitting here and we are just compressing nicely and tightly for the next explosive move to the upside. Shout out to Abisai once again. Usually, again, and I did this with Tesla. This is exactly one of the moves that I made with Tesla. When you see price enter into these compression areas, the way that it enters is usually the way that it exits. So we could see, again, something like this, where price exits out the same way it came in. So we entered here through that energetic move to the upside, and we started compressing until we see possibly another breakout move to the to the upside. All right, most likely we're trying to build enough to get past this fair value gap. All right, so XLRE, look up your real estate names, they look really bullish. Let's check it out and look at the weekly. All right, so let's see if we see any actionable signals. So on the weekly, let me get rid of this. We have this inside bar, and it looks very bullish. Like, it looks almost like a hammer. All right, so the long wick, very skinny body, so I wouldn't completely consider a hammer, but it's got hammer-like qualities. All right, and we're coming off of, again, the bottom of this trend line right here. Now we could get another breakdown, so we could see something like this, where price comes down, right, maybe right into here, and I'm looking to see if it'll make that lower high. It's the same tactic I used when I did Tesla, to see if it'll make that lower high, or it could come, straight down here and retest this again. But I don't know, something tells me it's not going to be that way this time. I could be wrong. So of course, it's always good to know and watch and see what price does at this level. All right, so we could get possibly this, or we can get possibly something like this. All right, or it could just straight up and break out from here. All right, just being patient on this one. All right, yeah, and on a day you just get this. It looks like it's flagging a little bit on the daily. All right, so that's XLRE. I really like this chart. I really like the way it's looking. I think real estate's about to go crazy, especially again if we're talking about those rate cuts coming in. All right, and my last sector is XLV, healthcare. That's not XLV. All right, healthcare. All right, I'm gonna go to the monthly once again. XLV has been interesting because we had a 1-3 and then another 3. All right, notice though, this order block is here, and this is a bullish order block. Sorry, it's not supposed to be. Turn that right color. All right, so this is a bullish order block because we had our last down candle before a huge move to the upside. All right, so and we're sitting in a demand zone. Every time prices come into this area, like, it's just, if you notice the wicks off of these candles here, it's just wicked up, and then finally broke up a little bit, came back down, until it finally really broke up, came down, and then we came back into this area. So we could see possibly another move to the upside, especially now that we have our outside bar. We do have a gap, immediate gap to the upside that price might want to take out on your monthly, candle. So XLV healthcare names, look into them, see which ones look good, and try to find a winner. We also have another gap here to the upside on the monthly chart. All right, if we go to the 2-week, we have again just the same kind of situation where it's been just kind of consolidating this area. It's been traveling sideways, and now it looks like it might be ready to break out. We do need to get above this fair value gap because we did have somewhat of displacement on this 2-week, but we are again reacting off of this order block, and it's a monthly order block in this demand zone here where price continues to react and push back up. Now obviously if it breaks through and closes, then that just cancels out our whole thesis. All right. All right, and then if we go to the weekly, yeah, it's looking good. All right, reacting right off of that fair value gap, and we'll see how this takes. All right, so that'll be all for XLV. So those are my sectors. Now we're gonna get into some tickers that I'll be looking at this week. Now I didn't do an exhaustive list because this video is very long, and honestly I'm not trying to really get into anything this week. I want to see what the market does. I want to see how it settles, how it's going to react, because usually again at the beginning of the month you get a lot of volatility, especially because we have such a big event going on. I'm going to sit on my hands and I'm going to wait. So but some of these do look really good, so I'm going to start off with from one of my favorite sectors for this week, which was XLE. We're going to start off with ZOM. All right. So ZOM, again, ZOM is, we have this trend line here. Oh, come on. Where ZOM has been just reacting to, like, it's been pushing against it. And this is a bullish reaction here at the top of this trend line. So we could possibly see something where it, breaks out above it. And so we get like a breakout and then possibly retest and then to go higher. Alright, again, because of XLE's chart, and I think ZOM is like the leading sector in XLE. I like the way ZOM looks. Look at it on the 2-week. We have these two double inside that came down, swept the lows of these, and then pushed back up. And so, honestly, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we get a gap up. Depending, again, I mean, the new month, new 2-week, all that stuff. Like I said, they like to play games. So, we'll see. But the 2 weeks looks really good, and the monthly we ended with a hammer candle. All right, looks like honestly it could have gone outside month. It's like they just didn't want to give it to us the outside, but this really shows like a lot of strength in the XLE sector and ZOM, honestly. All right, notice too, we've been consolidating in this range for months, just been trading like sideways. If you look at the zone here, it's just been stuck in this range. Alright, we haven't broken to the upside or to the downside. We'll see if this could actually give us the momentum we need to go back and maybe finally break out. Alright, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got. And we do have this fair value gap that, every time it comes into this level, it's been reacting and come back to the upside. As you can see, it's happened over here. Alright, so yeah, XLE, ZOM looks really good. Again, you can see that trend line a little bit more clearly on the daily. All right, and we have had our series of not necessarily lower highs and lower lows, but we've just been flagging for quite a while here, and it looks like ZOM might be getting ready to push out. All right, so we have ZOM, that's one, and then CVX, that's the other one. So CVX, I like this chart a lot. It depends again on what it decides to do. So what's it, a monthly? So CVX has been another one that's stuck in this trend channel. But if we zoom out, we kind of look at the structure of it. We've been in an uptrend, obviously, because I mean it's just been going up. We did obviously come down here, but once we came down here and swept all these lows here, we've been pushing up, and it looks like CVX has been flagging on the monthly for, I mean, months. Like, this is nuts. The amount of consolidation that oil has been having for a while. And then we have these 3 candles. We did have our displacement. Still within the range though, so I wouldn't say it's necessarily too much. I mean, yeah, it was like, that's a big red candle, but we've reclaimed all of it almost. And so that tells you something, like buyers are stepping in, they're buying this up, and could we get a break finally above and close this trend channel? All right, so I will be keeping my eye on CVX and ZOM. And again, look, based off of the XL E sector, these look like they can be very, very bullish. All right, excuse me. Let's see, we had a week. Let's look at the week real quick. Yes. Oh, that was another thing. So we do have an actionable signal from the strat, and we do have a 3-2. So a very strong close on that 2 candle on the weekly. So are we gonna get a 2 up, or are we gonna reject this trend line and get a 2 down and just continue to bounce within this trend? Well, again, this remains to be seen. But set your alerts, see what happens. Because if we get a break above this, this could be very explosive, because we've been, again, just consolidating within this range for quite some time. All right, that is it for CVX. My last one is VLO for this sector. All right, VLO is also one of my favorite oil stocks to really trade. Shout out to ADEX who put me onto this. So VLO on the month, it's pretty much the monthly close is what I'm kind of paying attention to. So we did obviously have our breakout and made a high here, then we came down, sold off, and then we swept this low and this low as well, creating these large wicks. And now we had a monthly candle that almost went outside month. It didn't quite get there, but again, the strong close with the little wick tells me the story that buyers are here. All right, so again, be patient, see how these candles open up tomorrow. Just because, again, they open up, also, even if they open up a little weak, doesn't mean they're going to stay that way. All right, I'm just saying to keep this on watch. All right, VLO looks really good based off of the monthly chart. Just see if it does get a break above its previous monthly high. All right, and also we have full time frame continuity on all time frames for VLO, like the day, the week, the month, the quarter, and the year, all green. So this could be a very, again, explosive and bullish move. Also, another thing we have are 2 gaps to the upside, and so on the short term we might immediately, come for these gaps, maybe get a little bit of retracement and then push higher. Yeah, so we definitely have, you see these consecutive candles, just look at that. So we are definitely due for a bit of a pullback, but I would say we get probably to the gap here and then possibly come back down maybe into one of these fair value gaps and then continue higher. All right, again, it's just my opinion, not financial advice. Yeah. All right, so that'll be it for VLO. And last but not least, the one that I want to really talk about is Tesla. Now this is not an XLE, this is just a random, but this is based off of the video I made last time. And the reason why I want to talk about Tesla is because Tesla has kind of been doing exactly what I said it was going to do. So similar to, what ticker was it? Forgot, that had that compression. I talked about it in the video. But similar to that, it's been compressing within this range. And I think Tesla, again, is poised for a huge breakout to the upside. That's just, again, my opinion. So right now, what I actually want to see, because we had the test of the bottom of the trend here, and then it broke, and now it hit the top. Now what I want to see is, I would like to see it come back down to our 0.618 level, or within this, even to 0.786. So we could get something that looks like this, where price comes down to this level, either comes maybe and tests this order block, rejects, and then comes back up, or we could get or we can get, a test right off of the 0.618, maybe some consolidation, and then break back up to the upside. All right, now obviously if things don't go the way that we are anticipating price could come down here, perhaps maybe and then push down a little bit lower. If I see that, then my bias will most likely flip to the downside for the short term, because I still think Tesla wants to run. I don't think it's done, but we have this gap that it could target as well, so just need to be mindful of that. Based off of my original analysis on off of the 17-day, Tesla has and just been doing what we've been struggling actually to get above this fair value gap, and so that's why I'm just waiting to see what price is gonna do. So we've been stuck every time it comes into this range, this area, it just rejects. And so let's see if opening month, you know, we might have some better luck once we come down into that 0.618 or that 0.786, lock it in, possibly push back up again. All right, but maybe play Tesla to the downside. All right, guys. I know that this was a very long video. I apologize for that, but the only reason why is because we have so many new things coming up, and I kind of wanted to cover it all. So I hope you got some value from this video. You know, if you did, you know, leave a thumbs up, like, as they always say, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All right. I go by the name of CR4G Trades, and this is my watch list. All right.